Jackie speaking.
Hi, Jackie. This is Greg Perniak.
Hello.
Hi. So I received your email from earlier this afternoon. I just have a few questions to ask you about it.
Okay.
Okay. So who is Jeremy Taylor in this process?
He's the lawyer for the respondents. Or no, Jeremy Taylor is the lawyer for the chief. Mr. Farraco is the lawyer for the respondents.
Right. Yeah, I've seen the name Joseph Farraco before, but I have not seen Jeremy Taylor before, so that's why I was wondering who he was.
I think it was Karen Agnahontry before, but he's taken over.
Oh, I see. Okay. And so are Joseph Farraco and Jeremy Taylor going to be at this meeting? I guess that's why you're CCing them on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought it was just going to be myself and the board to.
It's the parties. It's all of the parties to EPL.
All of the parties at EPL?
All of the parties to the appeal.
Oh, appeal. Okay, I see. Right. Okay, and so just as a general sort of sense, are you expecting that some of my appeals will be rejected or dismissed? Like, should I be expecting that?
I don't know. I don't know what they're going to decide. It's just the volume. We're going to have to figure out how we're going to proceed.
Right. So the volume, because, the first part of the applications were all documents that I originally submitted, so, that shouldn't really count as any sort of volume indicator, but, I understand what you're saying. Usually an example of usual applications is we're asked to consider one document. Oh, I see. Yeah. Right, I see. Huh. And that's kind of what I was wondering is whether, what are typical applications? Because I guess I wasn't really, sure about what that meant exactly. I understood, records and documents and things tangible things, but what are sort of typical applications?
Well, and each case is individual, right? But what the appeal proceeds on the record, and then any additional information you wanted added aside from the record, there'd have to be an application. So because you want substantial documentation added, and because you've mentioned calling witnesses, we need to establish how we're moving forward.
Right. And like I was saying in my follow-up email, I understand, on my side, I felt or I believe that it was a lot of information, but I don't know whether that's a lot for the board, right? So, from my side, I kind of thought, like I was saying before, where the board sent out that email asking EPS for, is there any missing information? I was expecting that they would actually, because I pointed out a couple of other pieces of missing information, and I was expecting that they would actually return and say those are some things that are missing, but in other words, I didn't expect to have to detail all of the missing information. And I have to be blunt. It's concerning to me that all that information was removed. So I don't know whether in your experience you've had other situations where an appellant has told you that information has been removed, as in, information that was given to as part of the complaint was it removed, and obviously I understand I had a lot of information. However, I'm just wondering, is that surprising to you that emails and documents were removed from my complaint?
I don't know. My understanding is that they didn't, when they conducted their email audit, they didn't produce everything that you had, right?
Right.
The emails missing, right?
That's correct, yeah.
So the strings were broken, yeah.
The strings were broken?
Email strings were broken, so there's emails that they didn't find that you have.
Right. No, I'm about those emails. Those are emails that were outside of my complaint. So in my applications document, I detailed a bunch of emails that I had actually given to them on the USB that I gave to Detective Walsall on September the 3rd.
Okay.
So that's the sort of thing I'm talking about where that's actually information I gave to them, and they've selectively removed that information.
Well, counsel for the chief may have an explanation. I don't know.
Right. So, and I guess so I was wondering whether that's something whether that's something you've seen before, where an appellant has, said this is information I gave to them on my complaint, and they've removed it. Like what can I tell you? That's extremely unethical to remove actual information that I've given to them, and it's very concerning to me, right? But anyways, I guess that's outside. That's what they'll have a response to, hopefully.
Right.
So beyond that, however, I don't know whether the applications that I've submitted beyond that set of those missing information pieces, whether those were unreasonable, or like you were saying, the volume. Is that do you think that my applications were unreasonable? Is that?
Well, we just need to deal with the number of applications that were made. We need to deal with how we're moving forward. So we have to establish how we're going to be moving forward.
Right. Given the volume of the applications.
Yeah.
Right. And and you were saying that you kind of are more typically used to single documents being considered and things like that?
Right.
So it was kind of a lot for me to send to you?
It's more than I've ever seen.
Okay.
But I've only been here a few years, so.
Right. I see. Because, I guess I wasn't sure whether it was or not. But, because it seemed like what can I don't know what else I can tell you, where there's all that information that I gave to them on a USB stick that exists on a drive that is not in the record, right? So
right.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to, the case management, we'll have to work out how we're going to proceed.
Right.
With all of it. And
right.
How we're, yeah.
And, so, in your opinion, is asking for call audio from EPS, is that unreasonable? Is that something, do you expect that they're going to reject that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't really have an opinion on that.
Right. And how about...
Not up to me.
Right. Do you, I guess, I was going to ask whether, I was saying that I have, call audio of calls that I made to other people that prove that they weren't actually contacted, right? It's so bizarre. I know that sounds so hard to believe, right? That the police made up these contacts. I know that just doesn't even, it can't even, I know that that's hard to believe, right? But it's so this information backs that up. And so what I guess I'm asking you is, do you expect that that's going to be considered, or I guess you can't really say, right?
No,
yeah. Okay, well, I don't know. I guess I'm very. It's I'm sure that you've been able to sort of get a sense that this is is very upsetting to my brain, and to me in general. But it boggles my mind, and I can't. And I guess. It makes me anxious, I guess, is what I'm saying when I'm sitting down with two lawyers talking about this, right?
Right. Yeah. But there'll be, it's not a hearing, it's a meeting. So it will be in the hearing room. One panel member will be present for the board, and the parties will be present. So yourself and counsel for the respondents and counsel for the chief, and it's recorded, so it is on the record.
Right.
That.
Okay, and right, I see. So Jeremy Taylor replaces Karen in the process, going forward, I guess. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we were notified. I don't know, sometime in the past week that he's now acting for the chief in place of Karen.
Right. Okay. So let me see. And you say don't bring anything extra, eh? This is it.
No, you wouldn't need to bring any documentation. They're not there to discuss any of the applications in detail. We're just there to discuss basically the process and how we're moving forward.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see. I thought that.
So it's not a hearing for the applications or for the board to consider any of the applications. It's just a case management meeting.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, because I guess that's I'm glad you pointed that out, because that's what I was actually thinking, is that I would be sitting down with like the board to talk about the applications and whether they're like feasible or not, and that sort of thing. But it's not. We're not actually going to go through each application and look at them.
No, no.
Right. Right, and I guess it's I guess so today, when you sent that email, that was the first that you've sent them the applications document that I sent. Like, this is the first that they've looked at it, I guess?
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay, so, well, I mean, do I sound like I'm asking too many questions? Because it's just, I mean...
You can ask as many questions as you need to. That's fine.
Right. Because I always fear that I'm sounding too demanding or asking too many questions, and like I guess like I've been struggling with this for 3 years now, right? Trying to figure out what happened here.
Right.
So I guess that's why why I ask a lot of questions, and so anyways, I don't know how that's perceived, I guess. Especially like I was saying in my appeal document, it sounds like they didn't even read my entire complaint because I had a lot of questions, and then they just stopped reading it. So, and maybe this isn't something that you can answer, but I mean, the like Joseph Farraco, he's representing the 3 EPS members, but obviously the appeal that I'm making has to do with the entire PSP process, including the detective and I guess and his sergeant and other, like it's a wider scope than just those 3 people. I guess that's where Jeremy Taylor kind of fits in.
Well, Jeremy Taylor represents the chief. So when we speak in terms, we refer to the respondents. But there's 2 parties that are the respondents, because there's the officers, and then there's representation for the chief, because the chief wrote the decision that you're appealing.
Right.
The officers were the subject officers of that investigation, right? So they have a stake in it as subject officers. But ultimately, it's the chief's decision that you're appealing. So Jeremy Taylor defends the chief's decision.
Right.
And then Mr. Farraco speaks for the interests of the officers.
Right. And I guess, well, yeah, I mean, I can totally understand why this is, it's difficult for me to process, and it's difficult for me to kind of explain how it's difficult to process, because of the very fact that, like I say, that letter from the chief isn't even a real response to the details of my complaint, and it's basically proven in the documentation that they didn't, get through it all. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But so in other words, that has to be. I don't know. That has to be somehow addressed, right?
Yes. If you look at it as that's one of your arguments as to why the chief's decision is unreasonable, that is a few steps from where we are now. That's your sort of when you do your final hearing, where you make your arguments as to why the chief's decision is unreasonable. That would certainly be one of your arguments.
Right. Okay, so I guess that's probably good. So okay, I guess that's so it will be myself, Farraco, Taylor, and one of the board members?
Yeah. And possibly I will be in the room as well.
Right.
Either myself or Diana. Yeah.
Right, that's fine. I mean, I was just kind of wondering whether you would actually be there or not.
Yeah, we record. Yeah.
Right, I see.
Yeah.
Okay. And record as in like audio and video, or just note taking?
Audio and note taking.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's perfectly fine with me, and that's kind of what I expect, because that's what I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your time again.
No problem.
Okay.
All right, have a good weekend.
Okay, thanks, bye.